Welcome in. Okay, we're continuing with the Sharing the Notes series on the Mica Francis case. This morning we talked about Mica's dilemma, reconciling her Christian beliefs to pursuing an independent lifestyle apart from JP. As we know, 2 days prior to her demise, JP received his divorce papers, his walking notice, and a lot of people have thought and speculated that his ego couldn't handle that, and one way or another saw to it, coerced or perpetrated acts or an act that caused the ending of Mica Francis's life. And we are speaking out until we see justice done for Mica, justice for the Jane Does, John Does, and anyone else who has been negatively affected. We send prayers and love to all the survivors of Solid Rock, and we want to see justice done. So we're going to just keep speaking out. Thank you for joining me. This is Chevy Cool Lady, and we are sharing the notes as we have been on the case from the beginning. So thank you for joining me. I'm not going to take a lot of time on this. I'm going to just do a series of short lives. Okay, so here we go. We're taking a look. We looked this morning at Mica's dilemma, being the bride of JP under JP's control. Trying to follow the Christian dictates, to be submissive to JP's demands, which were basically the fruit of depravity and death. Now, Mica, the bride of Christ, as we saw from her video, chose to be free from the abuse and submissive to Jesus, bearing the fruit of the Spirit: kindness, gentleness, peace, joy, long suffering, all these things. We could see that by the preponderance of evidence that she herself left, along with countless witnesses, friends, and family who knew Mica. Her dilemma was knowing that in the Word, and as she had been also programmed to believe that God hates divorce, but realized because of her experience that God also hates abuse. Mica's world was comprised of JP's church, Solid Rock, her family, which she was isolated from because of JP's harsh words, cruel treatment, narcissistic behavior. She chose to have now new beginnings. She got herself a new car when he literally absconded with hers. I think I saw the ex-principal of Faith First School attached to and associated with the notorious Solid Rock Church principal, driving it at one point. Who knows where that car is? Hi, Hari, welcome in. She also had a new job. Okay, so things were going good. We know that she had met him, and he was whether he was a youth pastor when she was 14 and he was 25, a married man with children. He had one child out of wedlock as a teen, and then went on and married Allison, and had, I believe, 4 children with her. Mica officiated over the ministries at church. Prior to that, she also babysat for Allison and JP. There's a lot of grooming that was done during these times. We know he has also allegedly abused many other minors associated with the church, associated with his father's ministry. And, Mica herself was a victim and trying her best to survive. Unfortunately, Mica's life was cut short, and it was sad. It was sad. She was making progress. She had reconciled her religious beliefs to agree to leave an unhealthy marriage. Now, Mica had left JP a year earlier and moved to Kansas. And a big part of the mystery was when she abruptly left. Micah's friend said that they received texts saying, "Praise God, I have been reconciled with my husband, as allowing me to move back home." Uh, of course, within a short time, JP was back to his antics. Um, Friends have been interviewed that were part of her life at that time that still have big question marks over the entire thing. I don't really know any 30-year-old women or any women in general who would even write a note like that. It sounds like it was either coerced or done fraudulently. And as we know, there were lots of times JP literally stole her identity, used her phone, her Facebook, social media accounts, or whatever, and fraudulently text and manipulated situations, using great emotional buzzwords and such, to continue his stupid narratives. Poor Micah had to put up with this stuff constantly. Um, JP basically, in my opinion, is guilty of holding her spirit captive during the time that they were married, keeping her really a human prisoner and possibly even trafficked, according to allegations that have also come up in the story. We also see that JP had a neighbor who says even the day of Micah's demise, which is now coming on a year, April 27th, um, supposedly saw JP that Saturday morning in the neighborhood. He almost hit him with his vehicle, his truck. Could it have been his son in the truck? They look like twins. Could be. I don't know. Could it have been JP? The neighbor thought it was. The neighbor also talked about sheets being hung in JP's windows, lots of suspicious behavior. What he called, I think he said Oriental, but Asian Filipino girls, young, at the house, supposedly, allegedly, even being beaten in the yard. Yeah, this we're talking about JP Miller, the defamed pastor in Myrtle Beach, and the alleged and suspicious suicide of his beautiful, gorgeous 30-year-old wife. This happened almost 1 year ago, um, in Myrtle Beach, South Carolina. There's still lots of suspicions. The death itself was ruled as blankicide, and since that time, there's been several other bodies associated in one way or another with this case. In fact, an old case, his, what they like to call paramour, his concubine, whore, whatever, Susie Skinner, ex-husband, drowned in a suspicious uh, death 2 years ago. This is now being reopened after new evidence has been turned in. This seems suspicious to many people online. It's been questioned by a lot of people. There's a lot of reviews. In fact, there's a Facebook page up now, promoted and owned by his sister, and the family has a lot of healing and a lot of questions that need answering. Apparently, there was not even an autopsy done. There's a lot to this case, and it seems like more and more there was other things associated, alleged everything's a coincidence because nothing can be proven to have direct connection. A woman was found, again, same manner of death as Micah several months later. I think it was July or August, I can't really remember, sometime on the church's property. She had owned a house adjacent to that property. It was sort of brushed off, like, and may not have any connection, but it's questionable. A home that was financed out in Florence, where JP's dad had his ministry, um, allegedly taking advantage of old people and getting them to sign over property to him for, alleged debts or whatever, somehow connected with that. There's been so much. There's been possibly or not the gobbles again. Um, Merc, Sui, whatever. Um, we have to talk like idiots because we can't say the real words because that's not community friendly, So sorry that I have to act like an idiot, they make you do that. But anyway, so there were them. Then now, of course, Johnny Jacobs, the fisherman. Lots of videos about him. I did several myself. Lots of questions. Rest in peace. My sympathies and condolences to the Jacob family, all friends and family of Mica, friends and family of the Gobbles, friends and family of every victim and every survivor of this whole solid rock case. So we're going to talk more about captive spirits. I'm going to take this into a spiritual dive in a couple hours. So I hope you'll join me. I'll be posting that information. We're going to talk about captive spirits and mind control, abusive cult behavior, which is prevalent throughout the Mica Francis case. And it's going on in a lot of churches now. We're seeing the fall of the mighty. We're seeing the fall of the small. God's cleaning house, I do believe. And we need to be wise and not be deceived. Not be deceived. But we need to be wise about what's going on and test the spirit. So thank you very much for joining me. Please like, subscribe, and I will see you probably about 8 p.m. tonight. I'll be doing another live. Please join me then. Please set your little notification bell so you can find this little station in this big internet world. I love you guys. Thanks for joining.